In this clip, we're going to be looking at switches and states. You might say that this is the final puzzle piece in WISE's general logic structure functionality, because everything we'll be looking at after this is going to be dealing with specific subsets of audio. Switches and states allow for an additional level of functionality that we haven't had access to up to now. And at a surface level, they will look quite similar. However, when we dig under the surface, you'll notice that they are actually quite different in how they can be used and what types of situations they are ideal for. So let's take a look now. If we move over to the Game Syncs tab of WISE, you'll notice that switches and states are types of game syncs, and they each have their own section. Inside the states work unit, you can create a state group. Inside the switches work unit, you can create a switch group. Let's just do that for now. We'll stick with the defaults. I just want to show you what these look like. So for a switch group, you can create new switches. And for state groups, you can create new states. Essentially, both of these game syncs will allow you to select between a variety of subsettings, moving back and forth between them according to the game or player input. This is why they can be confused sometimes. The best way to differentiate between them is to consider it this way. States are global. A state is a global system that you are affecting potentially the entire game with. A switch is specific to a game object in the game. This becomes apparent in code because the API call for a state does not require a game object attached to it. As a matter of fact, it cannot accept a game object, whereas the API call for a switch change requires a game object. A state can only ever have one setting at a time. For example, in this new state group, we would only be able to set it to new state or new state 01. However, in this new switch group, we could have one of these new switch groups set for new switch on one object in the game, and then another object in the game could be set at new switch 01. We'll look at this in more detail soon, but I just want you to be aware that switches are game object specific and states are global. With this in mind, their individual uses and functionalities and the ways that you can take advantage of them will become much more clear.